Think of the last time you got an Uber. Was the driver a woman? Most of the time, the answer to that question is no, no matter where you are in the world. Ride-hailing apps have made it easier than ever before for women to become taxi drivers, but it remains one of the most male-dominated industries on the planet.
You think that technology by itself will come in, pave the way, and, everything becomes gender neutral. No, it doesn't happen.
And then there are companies like An Nisa in Kenya. It's one of dozens of women-only taxi companies that have been popping up all over the world. Women drivers, women riders, no boys allowed.
We are always asked, is it a big enough problem that you're solving? It's only when you sit with women, you understand, yes it is. We're giving a safe space to women out there.
So why is there a need for companies like An Nisa? And can they help make one of the fastest growing sectors on the planet a little more gender equal? Hey Nita, how's it going?
Hi Fenton, how are you?
This is my colleague Nita. She lives in Nairobi, where she's reported on the rise of gig workers in East Africa. Let's talk a little bit about when you met Eunice.
Okay. Eunice is very outgoing, she's very funny.
Let me put on my belt first. When you take a video, my belt should be on.
The other week, Nita took a ride with Eunice, a mother of three who's been driving taxis for about 5 years now.
What do you like most about this job?
It's easy. It's just driving. It's a daily money that flows fast. It's about the money.
Ride-hailing apps are huge in Nairobi.
We have the Uber, we have the Bolt, we have Farasi, and we have An Nisa and many more.
These ride-hailing apps have come up around at a time where there is so much demand for employment, and so people are, and even women are turning to gig work.
It's hard work. App-based taxi and delivery drivers around the world work 65 hours a week on average. Drivers in developing countries get paid up to 60% less than drivers in developed countries. Eunice says she often starts work at 8 a.m. and finishes around 11 p.m. if she wants to make enough money to pay off her car and to provide for her kids.
Sometimes I just get tired, but the thing that I remember I have to pay someone makes me moving, and I have to save, and my daughter needs some milk. You keep pushing.
And as a woman, Eunice faces other challenges as well.
It's so quite unusual to see female drivers. They face even basic biases, these sexist biases that women are bad drivers, which of course is completely false.
They're like, really? Can you drive me? And I'm like, yes, I'll drop you to where you're going. Yeah, when they find out that we do it better, they appreciate it.
Other issues obviously are sexual harassment. Some drivers have told me about how men will try to be a bit flirtatious with them, or they even had men, try to touch them when they're driving, etc.
This is where apps like An Nisa come in.
Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you, I'm a woman, I'm based in Kenya. I can understand and empathize with the issues that the drivers go through, because I drive on the roads of Nairobi. We've had women say that they check the child lock, they're planning an escape route. That's not what women should go through in this day and age.
An Nisa launched back in 2018 as a call-up taxi service, but they relaunched with an app in October last year. The app now has around 100 active female drivers. The company takes a commission of 15% per ride, lower than their bigger competitors.
It doesn't have the kind of infrastructure and the technical know-how that Uber has, but they have done a lot of work to try and support their female drivers better.
Things like self-defense training and access to private ambulance services. Around the world, there are companies with a similar setup to An Nisa.
Interestingly, we started with 10 female drivers, and as we speak today, we have over 160 of them registered on our platform.
Tenés una sola opción, o dos opciones, o una oferta limitada de mujeres para poder moverse. Cuando un varón puede salir a la calle, levantar las manos y enseguida conseguir un taxi. Estamos nosotras en desigualdad de oportunidades ahí.
But these smaller, women-only platforms often run into financing issues. At the end of the day, it's tough to compete when your competitor has more money, more cars, and is often cheaper. Many of these companies like Fionca in Egypt or Sheba in Australia were absolutely devastated during the pandemic.
I do think that these initiatives that have come up are very important and they should be sustained and they should be provided the support from the governments. So they are basically competed out.
So what are the bigger players doing to entice more women onto their platforms? Uber says it runs sexual assault survivor programs and women's coaching with many organizations worldwide. It's also launched a feature in 23 countries, giving female drivers the option to select only female passengers. They say it's been used over 44 million times since launch. Uber's rival Bolt has allowed female passengers to select only female drivers in 7 countries, including Kenya. Since launch, the feature has led to more women joining Bolt's platform, but women drivers still make up only 4% of their total active drivers. Some experts say there's something deeper at play here. The algorithms that run these apps could be unintentionally amplifying the issues these women already face. Research from Rest of World and Premise found that women made roughly the same per hour as men, but they worked fewer hours overall, often due to care commitments at home, meaning they took home less money at the end of the week.
It very clearly assumes that a worker is a male breadwinner without any care and household responsibilities, and they don't have the same kind of safety concerns that women have.
For example, a male driver may jump at the opportunity to work a late-night shift as bars flood out, and he's rewarded with surge prices. But a woman driver may think twice because of safety concerns. Or
a woman cancels a ride because she has to basically go and pick up a child from school or has to take care of the child at home, then immediately there is a penalization that happens. This happens in the form of lowering of ratings, not giving them further access to work, and at times they can be just deactivated from the platform.
basically, it's a system that seems to reward being available at all times and locations.
It reproduces and reinforces the unequal gender dynamics that is there. Today, all of these programs, all of these platforms, algorithms are largely curated by men. So can we have more programmers who look at these indicators with a gender focus and are sensitive to some of these issues?
But it's difficult to really track this, as the big ride-hailing companies rarely share data. We reached out to some of the major ride-hailing apps to ask about this. Uber told us in a statement that its algorithm does not consider gender when calculating drivers' fares, and it encourages feedback from drivers to improve its service.
I think it's a 50-50 situation with these ride-hailing apps. It has brought economic empowerment to so many people, especially women. But there has to be transparency about how their algorithms work, and there has to be better conditions.
Right now, I'm using 3 apps. They all have different advantages and disadvantages, but me as a driver, I'd pick the one that has more customers. It's not something that you train to do, it's something that flows. It's a nice job. I'd encourage more girls to do it, more ladies, more women.